I've got a habit of yo-yoing, so I'll have a period of time where I'll lose weight quite successfully, but it doesn't really last. So I'll do it for a while, and then my focus sort of goes, or I might have sometimes I've got an objective, so I'm doing something like I'm going away or something like that, and then when I get back, it's like, oh, okay, right, I've done that now. My struggle has always been staying on track, staying in the right place, staying mindful and conscious, I suppose. So immediately before that, I've had a period of, I'm type 2 diabetic, so I'd had a period of my sugar levels going back up again, which wasn't great, and my cholesterol going up, and I had a couple of checks on that, and it wasn't coming under control. So I lost some weight at the beginning of the summer, but then I put it back on again, and it's just like I just got to the point where I was like, well, this isn't working. I need to do something different. Hence, Dave. Well, I really wasn't feeling well. So that's the first thing. Like, my sugar levels were up, so I was tired and fed up because I kept putting on weight. And with people like me who struggle with food and weight, then, that's a vicious circle, because it's the worse you feel, the more you eat, and then the more you eat, the worse you feel, and onwards you go. So that was very much how I was feeling. I really wasn't physically feeling well. And I was feeling very unfit. I've got arthritis in both my knees. So this time last year, so April, May time last year, I literally couldn't walk. I had both knees strapped up constantly, and I was really struggling. So, which stopped me going to see my son coming in, having done a long hike on a 2-day hike on Dartmoor called the 10 Tours, and I didn't go to see them come in because I just knew I'd be a liability. I wouldn't be able to walk. So, and I had a holiday in over Easter and literally just couldn't go anywhere. So I had a very nice week in the sun lounge, but nothing else really. So I'd got to that point, my arthritis was really bad, and I was just feeling grotty really. On and off over the years, I've tried all sorts of things. I've done Weight Watchers a couple of times, which is okay, but tends to get on my nerves a bit, to be honest. After a while, it's all right for a bit, and then it's like, oh. And I've done it on my own as well, and that works while I'm doing it. I've done Atkins at one point, which I have to say is probably the most successful thing that I did for a long period of time. So I did it quite strictly for a short period of time, and then actually just basically didn't really eat carbohydrate for a very long time until I got pregnant with William, and then the health was just like, oh, you should be eating fruitcake and all this sort of stuff, and that was like, so after I had William, I then started putting weight back on again. For me, it's changing the relationship and changing the thinking and trying to get into some sort of long-term sustainable thing. I need somebody to help me get into this and change my way of thinking and actually build on, I need to lose weight, because otherwise I'm going to end up crippled. I'm not going to be able to walk. There's always a concern that you're not going to be able to do it. It's always a bit scary when you're trying to do something new, that either you won't be able to do it, or it's not going to be for you, or whatever. So yes, I suppose from that point of view, because I've done lots of things before, and eventually I sort of fall off the wagon again, So, and I've been overweight since I was about 7 or 8. So, my whole life I've been overweight. So it's a massive change, trying to change your whole way of thinking as well as what you do. I think the first thing is that it is very much based on mindset. It aligned very much with where I was at, because, like I say, with the arthritis, I'm very conscious that I don't want to end up in a situation where I'm dependent within a fairly, I'm 59 now, so, I could just see another 10 years and I would be very dependent or not able to walk or whatever. I don't know, it's hard to predict. But I could just see it definitely wasn't going to get any better, put it that way, if I didn't do something about it. And during the program, it's different because it is about, like I said, it's quite aligned with where I was at, because my thinking was quite, actually, what does the future look like? What does my retirement look like? What do the next 10, 15, 20 years look like? And the program is very much around that. So what is quite future focused? It's where do you want to be? How are you going to get there? What are you really doing? Why are you really doing this? Why is it really important? And not putting stuff off. I think that's the other thing, because my inclination is always to think, it's a bit like a wedding or something like that to go to in 6 months time. Oh yeah, I must do some weight for that. And then and it's always like next week, and then so the program isn't sort of very now focused. I think sometimes it can, if you're not careful with these, so that's why I got fed up doing Weight Watch, things like that, is you get bored after a while. But I have to say with the program it's slightly different, because every week there's a different focus in terms of your mindset. So doing the exercises, doing the sort of thinking, doing the values assessment, revisiting that, looking. So every week it's progressive and it's different. So it's not like the same thing every week. So if you do Weight Watchers or something like that, every week you trundle along, you get weighed. If you stay for the meeting, generally it's around, I don't know, different recipes or what you're going to do. And it's not, the other thing I think actually for me is it's individual. It was me, and the focus was on me, not in a group, where I find other people quite irritating, frankly. So, well, I'm an introvert, so, actually that's not my sort of thing, really. So I think the individual focus and the fact that it was something different mindset-wise every week. It's the understanding. So understanding that, there are weeks that you're going to struggle. There are weeks where it's just life happens. And I think we had the conversation way back along around, you said to me, and I've said it to quite a few people actually, I've told the story, where you said to me you were trying to assess like calories and nutrition input and everything else. And you said to me, Alison, can you not just have a normal week so that I can assess where you need to be roughly, so I can set the levels and then you can work around that? And I said, no, because my life's just not like that. So actually you have to find a way to make it work for me. And my life is not like that. I eat out a lot, partly because I like eating out, but for business and things like that. I'm away quite often. I'm also extremely busy, so I can't always fit things in and that sort of thing. So, so I think that was one of the key things, was that individual being able to do that. And I think the other thing is, like, when you keep going back to Weight Watch, but when you do anything like that, whether it's with the nurse at the surgery or anything like that, if you've put weight on or it's not been a good week, you don't get that, but you do, if you know what I mean. You sort of might not actually get it, but there's always that feeling that that's what's going on. Whereas I think with David, there is understanding of, sometimes there are bad weeks, and sometimes you're not going to do that, and that's fine, but what are you going to do this week that's going to be different to change that? It's great, and I do feel better, definitely. Got me down to a size, below where I was before. I'm back into some clothes that I couldn't wear before, that had got really tight and couldn't wear, so yeah, no good. I'd like to lose about the same again, if I can. That would be my sort of aim. That would get me down another, probably 2 dress sizes. It's a long-term thing, and I think that's one of the other things, is that I've always tended to sort of think, if I diet at 11 o'clock, I should have lost at least 2 stone. And when I don't, it's like, it's no point, because I can't lose it fast enough. And I think that's one of the other things with the programme, is around it is long term. And actually, although you hear that, £2 a week is really good, and and all the rest of it, that's when you've got a lot of weight to lose, that's really boring. And it's like, I haven't lost it fast enough. So I think changing the mindset and sort of thinking, well, actually, no, it's okay. If I do that over the next 18 months, I'll have some sustained healthy eating, good habits over a long period of time. Not dieting per se. I mean, I've changed the way that I eat, and it is about the consciousness level. So I'm not saying that I've turned into this saint, because I do I get chocolate buttons or something. But it is about, I think the other thing is about if I have a day or I have, or I have something, and I think I really shouldn't have eaten that large packet of giant chocolate buttons on Friday. It's then the difference is, instead of being like, well, I've done that, so there's no point in carrying on, it's like, I've done that, so let's pull it back. And I think that's the difference. Fear and do it anyway. I think sometimes you have to take a bit of a leap of faith, I think, and try. I think you've got to try stuff. Some things work for some people and other things work for other people. And I think one of the things about the program is really good, and the program is sort of fixed, but working individually on a one-to-one basis, you can sort of flex it. So there's some weeks where I haven't, Dave said, oh, for next week, do this, whatever it might be. And then I get on next week and go, oh yeah, I forgot. I haven't done that. Or something like that. It's like, okay, that's fine, but just, do you want to have a go at doing it this week or something like that? So I think that's the advantage of doing it individually, I have to say, to some extent, is that it can be flexed around that. But I think it's definitely, like I say, different things work for different people. So you don't know until you try. But I think the fact that it's individual, and I think that's one of the, I can't remember now, but I think we probably started out with that around actually what does success look like, but also how do you get there? What's going to motivate you, as opposed to just this generic sort of thing. Yeah, I think changing my mindset in terms of, fine, accepting that sometimes I'm going to have a pudding, if I'm out, I'll have a pudding or something like that. But then the next day it's like, right, okay, so I did that yesterday, so I'll eat a bit less today, or something on that sort of line. Or actually, I haven't been able to go swimming for some reason, so I'm going to go and have a walk instead. It's that type of thing.